Hodge matchup.
Hello, welcome to Whyspace. So today we don't have a theme, which is new for us, and that's why the background is just
so calming.
I do. Oh, well, thank you. This is my radio voice. No, but I made the background confetti because we're going to be all over the place. See, I had a rhyme or reason to it. I'm proud of myself. Well, let's just start out. Becca, how are you?
You know what? We're excited. It's Friday. The kids are home all next week. So we'll be at the pool, even though it's cold. But we're going to smile through it.
I feel like y'all have spring break early. Our spring break is not until the following week, which I guess isn't like
all of Texas has it next week. I'm pretty sure.
It's because y'all just have to be different.
Apparently. Usually it's the next week for us. So
that's when yours is. Now ask me if I have decided what we're doing for spring break. Have I booked plane tickets, a hotel, anything? Nope.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, I was like, we're not going anywhere, but we've got like really fun places downtown. So like we'll do a fun dinner one night with the kids. And I'm just going to count that as our win for spring break. Because that's all I've got to give it.
And I'm sure if you're listening to this, you're like, are they just like having a normal conversation and not really doing a podcast? No, that's the point of this episode. It's actually a hodgepodge is what we're calling it. We are going to get into other topics, but this is a good one too. I'm having a crisis internally on a lot of fronts, but this one specifically, I have thought to myself, we should just not do anything for spring break. And then there's this part of me that's like, oh, how sad for a little 8-year-old boy. And then I'm like, did I ever go anywhere for spring break? I don't even know. Like,
see, we never went on spring break and we've never taken our kids anywhere on spring break before because I realized, A, if I'm going to spend money on a trip, it's going to be during the summer. And B, a really awesome week to them is like unlimited video games.
See, and that's what I'm wondering. Like, is Judd going to be happiest if I just buy a surplus of Robux? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Like, if I just buy him a lot of that and like sit him next to me, like, is he going to be good? Or am I going to feel like I should spend all this money on a trip and then be mad that I don't have money?
Yeah.
And he's going to be mad that I can't buy the Robux.
Literally, the kids have made it's on the refrigerator right now. But they have made a schedule for each day next week of who gets the VR at what time.
Oh, yes.
Even though they each have their own Xbox, they each have their own computer. We did each have our own VR, but one of them broke the handle on one of the others because we were on a boxing game or something. And
I tell you, that is something. Like Judd's little VR, we hear him hit the wall more times than I can count. And it's loud.
Yeah.
And are you okay? Is your arm broke? Like,
I'm constantly going up the stairs being like, step away from the wall, step away from the bookcase. Like, what's happening?
Yeah. Have you ever put the VR on?
I've done it once. It's pretty cool.
I was going to say something that you should do, which can help us segue to our topics. Well, because next Thursday right now, because this has changed, topic we'll talk about. You should watch the Eras Tour on Disney.
I need
with the VR because you can save multiple thousands of dollars and not buy a ticket and it'll feel like you're there.
I didn't even realize that.
Oh, well, I realized it after spending, car payment or whole car for it going twice. But that is a good segue for us. We do have a lot of Taylor stuff to talk about. We are going to talk about other things. So if you're not a Taylor fan, I don't know why really you listen to this podcast in general, but
just hang out with us.
Yeah. And that is a special shout out for you, Laura. Anyway, so the Eras Tour movie is going to Disney Plus next week. It was supposed to be on Friday. Now it's ironically on Thursday, the 14th.
Yes.
And the announcement included Pacific time instead of talking about the normal time, which we always know when Taylor talks about time, she's talking about New York time.
Yep.
Purposely called out Pacific time, a random time, and a day before.
Yep.
Now we're not speculative people. Well, we are, but not on this podcast. And when I say we, I definitely mean me. We feel like this might be weird though. Like, I think this is weird. I think so Becca is in what we call Easter egg burnout right now.
I am.
She gets super annoyed when she gets messages from me that are from TikTok because she knows I am now down another rabbit hole with a theory. I'm doing a lot of math. If you follow Taylor,
it's too much math. There are so many numbers.
Like, and I didn't pass college algebra. Like, if anyone from Ouachita Baptist University is listening to this podcast, I do apologize. I did break the honor code, and my mother paid my best friend, who I will not put her name on blast here, but if you know me, you know who it is, to pass online college algebra for me after they had given me my diploma, because that's how serious it was, folks.
This is the best thing I could have ever learned about you.
But like, even all of that to say, listen, I'm counting 112 days from everything you can think of. Taylor sneezed. 112 days from now is this. Okay, if I divide that by 2.
Okay, but see, then I'm like, is it 112 days counting today?
Oh,
does it start tomorrow? Like, it's too much, and then I get frustrated. One Easter, and then 2 weeks later it comes to fruition. Then let's do the next Easter. I can't have 500. They're like spanned out over the years.
So I saw one last night. I wish I'd sent it to you, because so what happens is I go down the rabbit holes. I'm very invested. I'm like pulling up my calculator on my phone, doing some math, and then I'll just chuckle to myself and send it to her. Because I know Becca's going to be like, oh, hell, here we go again. And she's going to respond to me that she just can't get invested. But here's what I know. I know she watched it.
Yes.
And I know that she's like, okay, well, maybe, but I can't. Like, I know you're, and so I just chuckle because I'm like, oh,
I roll my eyes every time, but then I'm like, well, I have to watch it, because what if something clicks?
We say all this to say now, we can't even just clown about one thing at a time. Like,
no,
that's just too much to ask. So now we're allegedly, as of like, what was the announcement to the new date? Was that like this week? That happened this week.
Earlier this week, I think.
So now we're all clowning for March 15th, 3/15.
Yeah. But you know that the change means something, because they plan out 2 years in advance.
And so the fact that it was like, this one to me, though, of all the, now here's what I'm going to go ahead and go on record saying. This is not Rep TV. I love y'all that are out there that are like, reputation's coming. Becca and I, we can't wait. Listen, it's not that. There is no way.
Let's take a minute. We're not getting Rep TV. I have accepted this. I'm upset about it.
I told you. Well, I have bad news for you. Well, the good news for those listening, she's lost her mind. We're getting Rep TV, but it's not happening until September. I just need y'all to know. But that's my latest theory. Now, I do think she's going to announce it. Here's the thing. I think she's going to announce it in June in Ireland. But for some reason, I don't think it's coming until September, and I can't remember which theory convinced me of that. So just know that. But I have to tell you that
but there is one.
You need to go see what's 112 days from 3/15, because I think that's going to mean something. Here's what I think. I'm going on record right now. I am convinced that on March 15th at midnight, so like technically, I mean like the midnight between the 14th and the 15th, not the 15th and the 16th. Like if you turned on the Eras Tour movie right when it comes on Disney Plus, God forbid the Russians get a hold of Disney Plus, or Taylor's going to be screwed. At midnight, I think she's going to release the Eras Tour live album.
Yes, you hit that.
I think that's going to happen. And some people are like, oh, but you think that she won't drop Rep in the middle of the Tortured Poets era. That's different, people. The Eras Tour is like, come on. Those are different theories. Yeah. So that's what I believe is happening.
That one makes sense. But they all make sense.
Oh, that's the problem.
That's my problem.
And, other people are like, I don't get it. Like, if you're not in the Taylor verse like we are, people are like, I don't get it. Easter eggs, what's happening? She wants this to happen. And she said in interviews before, she does this on purpose. She loves this. And she's evil and crazy, I think. Because
so this 112 days from March 15th is July 5th.
Now, if you go follow Nikki King, who's one of my faves on TikTok, I send you theories. She's the 112 theory kind of queen. I can't remember if she's really good about giving credit to other people. I feel like she has given credit to somebody, but she has gone down that rabbit hole deeply.
Yeah.
Last year, she speculated with the whole 112 calculations that debut was going to be announced on that day.
Do you think she'll announce debut before rep? Or is that after?
I don't know, because that runs the theory that something's coming out in September. So, but now we say all this is to say, and if you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to see what I'm doing. I'm holding up a peace sign. The twos, they're everywhere.
Everywhere.
Something is going on with Taylor. She's doing the peace sign for everything now. And she's mentioning the number 2, Taylor Nation. So something 2 is happening.
Yes.
So a lot of people are like, is Tortured Poets Department a double drop? Everyone always thinks Taylor's going to do a double drop, and she never has. I'm going to say she never will.
Yeah.
I don't see it, because I think you got to think about this whole, like, the sales thing. Now, here's the thing. It would sell. But if you've got like one album out at a time, it's going to break the records. If you put 2 out, it may not break a record. I don't know. I think the 2 is the movie drops and the album. That's 2 things.
Okay.
The Eras Tour album. That's my theory. A lot of people clowning, though, believe that it's debut and rep are going to be a double drop. Listen, I won't be surprised, because she would get back her name and her reputation at the same time.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
Well, I think if there was going to be a double drop, it's going to be that. And maybe she announces it March 15th and then it drops in July. I don't know. But that all happened. So there's that.
Things going on there.
Yeah, thanks for clowning with us on that. Let's talk about Singapore for a second.
Yes.
Well, I guess I do need to mention something about Australia. Scott Swift is missing.
Yeah.
Dude has not been seen since the altercation with the paparazzi, which I'm sure is purposeful, but I miss him. And I worry when he's not around. But I truly do not think he's in Singapore.
No.
But somebody else is.
One of our favorites. Many of our favorites, actually.
All dark and handsome as hell, as she would say. Trav got to Singapore. I would say like yesterday, but that means nothing because
we don't know days and times.
It may be like March 30th there by now. I don't know. He and all his friends, or a bunch of friends. Ross, of course, is there, our other fave.
Yeah.
They're in Singapore. Taylor has switched the game. She no longer is doing surprise songs. They're like mashup surprise songs. And so last night, well, no, technically it would be tomorrow night, our time. I don't know. Anyway, this morning it aired here, Singapore. Don't talk to us about time zones. She did Gold Rush.
Yeah.
And Sparks Fly. Total trap. I was in the car with Judd taking him to school, and I was explaining to him, now listen, the first 2 are going to be real sad because that's what we're on. Right now we're doing some like breakup, heartbreak. We're getting ready for Tortured Poets on the guitar. And then when she goes to the piano, don't worry because it's going to be happy. I'm in love with Trav. So Judd's like, okay, I'm with you. All of a sudden she starts singing Sparks Fly. He looks at me. I looked at him. I was like, I was wrong.
Right.
And so
that's all out when he's there.
Yeah. So then that was spectacular. And it's funny because neither song they're never in my top, like, whatevers, but
yeah,
just loved it. But then sits down at that piano and played False God and Slut. Listen, holy mother.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go back and look at one of the things I've loved doing lately is if you go back and look at footage of surprise songs last year when she played a lot of these same songs, she looks angry. Yeah. She looks sad. Half the time she's crying. And it was just dark. So if you go back and look at False God when she did it last year, it was very soon after the breakup with Joe. And she looks mad as hell.
I mean, think of the life changes that she has gone through since the start of this tour to current day. Like, you ended a long-term relationship at some point. You started another relationship that has brought you even more into the media with a whole new group of people.
Who even knew that was possible?
Woman, Person of the Year. You've all of these like accolades that she has received, Grammys, like all of these things, records she's broken, like what a wild ride for someone to, I don't even know how you mentally balance everything and take it all in. And she probably won't be able to take it all in until she's wrapped the tour and can actually sit and be like,
if that
happens. Just live through. Yeah.
I mean, just this week she added another tour date,
which is crazy to me.
Which was a whole thing because it's in Spain, it's in Madrid. And you know, the Europeans, they take their soccer real serious. And like literally Real Madrid is one of the best soccer teams in the world. And they were the ones that were like, we will move everything. Please add another date. And so she was like, okay.
I was shocked.
That is mind blowing in itself. But let's talk about real football. Just kidding. Just kidding for the soccer fans.
Our football guys.
If my son listens to this, he'll be offended. So Travis and Singapore, clearly they're in love. There's been a statement put out by Entertainment Tonight.
Yes.
Weekly. I get so confused. Y'all, I swear, life is too much right now. Which we all know that if you're in this verse is most likely Tree Payne that works for Taylor and says they're happy, they're planning the next steps. So people like me, this is for us. This is to say, calm down. They're not breaking up.
Everything's fine.
Becca has to reassure me on the daily almost that everything is fine. And it's because I need them to be okay. So I can be okay. So I don't have to worry about my own problems. So apparently they're good. They're in Singapore. She's about to take a 2-month break. Well, we say that 2-month break, 2-month break from the Eras tour performing. Let's be honest. We got an album coming out.
Right.
Something's happening next week. I don't know what that is. I'm assuming we're going to get some vacation time with Trav is what I'm hoping for her and for him.
Yeah. But I'm also hoping like they do something and we don't find out till later what it was. Like I hope they actually can get away from helicopters.
This is where we are vastly different because I need to know where we are.
No, like I want to be there with them and just constantly be like, what are you missing? What are you talking about?
Y'all are really cute together.
I want them to have something together.
Yeah, I will say, and again, the time zones and the temperatures and everything is just so confusing to me. But it apparently looks hot as hell in Singapore.
She's like, you can see there's water all over her body, just sweat.
I mean, and the whole like her hair has returned to factory settings made me die laughing because it goes curly like mine does. But I mean, it looks hot as hell there. So, and she also coming off the stage has not looked well, which I mean, listen, I couldn't run 3.5 hours and let alone in humidity. Good God.
Multiple days in a row.
No, this has been insane. I didn't really realize like why this has happened, but apparently like Singapore paid a lot of money to kind of own the Southeast Asia leg and have it all there. And that's why we had so many dates there. I didn't really I didn't even know you could do that. I wonder, like somebody made a very smart decision in the Singaporean government.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Lots of money going to them.
So we've got the new mashup format of the surprise songs. As someone who's been to 2 shows, I'm not mad about this. I'm happy for everyone. Like, I'm not one of these people that's like, oh my God, I lost my favorite song. Like, well, I can't go to every show. Like, I mean, I try to watch every show, but like, yeah, I mean, I don't begrudge them at all. I mean, I'm hoping that I get a mashup this year. I'm hoping we're going to go to the New Orleans show. I don't have tickets yet because I'm gonna wait and probably spend a kidney to get it, but you know. So I don't know. It's an exciting time to be a Taylor fan for us.
Yes.
And then I also just looked at our outline. Like you didn't even correct me. Y'all, life is very confusing for me right now. And I literally put in our outline that we were going to do an Oscars recap. I don't know if y'all know this, but the Oscars hasn't happened yet.
Okay, I caught that earlier, and I was like, that's why I texted you. I'm like, are we recording today?
Oh, I just thought you were like, you're not in here yet. Okay, well, we cannot recap the Oscars yet, but we can talk a little bit about it.
They have on Sunday.
They're having Sunday. I don't know. I'm not really invested. I feel like I'm kind of in my music era. And so
that's fair.
Less invested. I am excited to see the fashion as always. I will definitely do my best to catch the red carpet don't know if I'm going to watch the show though.
No, I always just catch the red carpet and then I'll because let's be honest, there's a lot of people in movies and things that get nominated that I have no idea about. If it's not Kung Fu Panda 4 or Taylor Swift, like I just don't know it's out.
Well, I was going to say, I feel like the Oscars, especially the times I have watched it, I'll be like, I'm sorry, what? I've never even heard of that movie. Yes. So there are a few things I am kind of watching. And I will say this episode is probably going to be a little more speculative than we normally are, which is actually a good segue to the next topic. But I am interested to see if Bradley Cooper shows up with Gigi Hadid.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to get his mom, though.
Oh, the Oompa Loompa.
I do have really high hopes for the fashion. So far, the award shows this year have really let me down.
Yeah, you have been very upset.
Very. Why would you go out in public?
I love Taylor. You have been unhappy with her choices.
Listen, she and I need to have a conversation because I get it's an Easter egg. I get it.
No, but
that is something better.
Now that we know that the black and the white was the albatross, I feel like that's so cheesy that her hands they were in black gloves. Like, what are you, a bird? That's weird.
I need a lot of the 2023 Cara Delevingne when she wore that gorgeous red dress with her hair. Like that's what I need for the Oscars again. I need everybody to bring their A game.
Yeah. I'm gonna make a prediction. I'm gonna say one of our top dressed opinions, picks. I think it's gonna be Margot Robbie, which is saying something because the most recent award show, I am not certain what was happening. She had some monstrosity on her side of her dress that was literally I think the homeless shelter was it was just too much. Yeah.
Which is crazy because she has been nailing it every time at everything for the Barbie.
It was very strange. Yeah, but I'm going to say that she's going to be a best dressed.
I think Zendaya might also. Zendaya. I don't know how to say that. I think she's probably going to be best dressed. She's had a lot of misses with the Dune premieres.
I was just about to say, let's talk a second about Dune. I actually want to see this. I liked Dune, the first one. I'm not a big go to the movie person. And my husband would tell you that when he turns them on here, I fall asleep. But I did like Dune, the first one. I want to see this. I think I would even go to the theater to see it.
So Doug and Ryder went and saw it last weekend at the theater. And their only comment was, it was really long.
Oh, dear.
I was like, okay.
Maybe I don't want to see it in the theater then because I can't sit still that long. But they have really taken this. I feel like they have done an excellent job with media for this. I feel like they have been everywhere, which is what you should do. But they have kind of taken on their roles in their wardrobe. So they're all in plastic and leather, and it's very strange.
I just wonder, do you put on sweatpants as soon as you go inside? You can't be sitting in some of that stuff.
Yeah. That is another topic in a speculative way. I do think our buddy Timothée Chalamet, I think he and Kylie may be donezo. I guess we'll see at the Oscars in the after party.
I know, yeah. I think they're pretty quiet though. So together, not together, it's not going to be a huge hit to anybody.
Well, listen, do I care? Not much. No. I'm just keeping it real. I don't. But I am excited to see everything. Speaking of celebrity movie stuff, okay, so Barry, is it Kehogan? You know what I mean though, right?
Let's go with that pronunciation.
Yeah. Did you see that last night he was at a Oscars pre-party and he had a friendship bracelet with Sabrina's name on it?
Oh, I did not see that.
So, and he was just in Singapore. He and Sabrina Carpenter are together, clearly.
Yeah.
He too had a running off the stage, jump in my arms moment.
How fun for her.
Yeah. So cute. I think they're really together. He creeps me out.
I think it's because he looks like he's had a lot of plastic surgery, but I don't think he has. I think that's just
he's got something. He's got something weird about his eyes. I just and now, did you watch Girl Meets World?
No, I didn't.
So I didn't either, but I've caught a lot of it on TikTok. And she's on there, and now she's grown and very scantily clad most of the time. So it's very strange, but they seem to be a good fit. So I'm happy for her. And he's everywhere now, like everywhere, and creepy. I don't know.
Good for him.
Speaking of him, did you know that Austin Butler wears white eyeliner on the daily?
No.
Yeah, I know it's a weird thing to know. But so I saw this on. Well, I've noticed his eyes, like on his waterline.
I mean, like I try and do that because it's supposed to like make your eyes pop, and I can't do it right.
Oh well, I mean, I asked someone, but yeah, I just noticed in all the Dune premieres, I was like, man, his eyes always pop. And then I read an article.
Well, there you go.
Okay,
so you forget that guys also have makeup artists for them when they're at the premieres.
Well, because I mean, it's weird, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know that anybody could do anything with Barry's eyes, though. There's something weird about him. I just feel bad for the guy, but I'm happy for them. They're also very small people.
They're small people. Well, but I think you also have to consider we're comparing them when we see like Travis and Taylor. They're not tiny individuals.
Yeah, that would be a complete, that is mind-blowing. Speaking of short people, y'all, this really is a hodgepodge episode. Man.
You guys are getting what our text messages are.
Yeah, this is actually a really good representation. But did you know that Kanye West is only 5'8"?
I don't think I ever knew his height, but I always assumed he was probably pretty short.
So the other day I told Aaron, I said, did you know Kanye's only 5'8"? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, I don't know why. I just always thought he was bigger.
No, he gives off little guy vibes too. So
I mean, right. It all makes sense now. I should have known, but yeah. So there's that white eyeliner, 5'8".
Just for a minute, I need to know who in the industry we have to talk to about this. I need to know how we're saying that someone is a fashion person. Because I feel like when you dug through your closet in the dirty clothes and you put it together and then you found like a trash bag and a pillow and you hand that to your wife, like I feel like that's not fashion. So I don't understand how they're like, oh my gosh, cutting edge, because it's not. It's sad. Creepy.
Yeah. What is her name? Bianca
Sensori? Is that
how
I don't know how you say it. That's how I say it when I say it.
The thing I find the most, well, I don't even know if I could say the most weird about this situation because there's so many heights of weirdness. It's so strange to me because do you remember when he and Kim were married, he used to talk about how he hated when she would dress sexually and he didn't like the sexualization or sexualizing of Kim. And yet now current wife is literally walking around with like duct tape on. I mean,
like every image has to blur out things because we can see it.
And how mentally unstable does she? Now we know Kanye's unstable.
Right.
But how mentally unstable is she to think like, oh yeah, I'm just going to do this?
Well, and you kind of wonder, is it the whole, like, I just need to get my name in the media so I can get my foot in the door somewhere type of thing. So it's like just holding on for that. Or does she truly enjoy this new life that she has? Because her father has come out, her friends have come out, but they're all concerned about her. Yeah. So you just kind of wonder the reason behind. And obviously we can speculate all day long as to what we think, but it's just, it's weird to see in the media because there are a lot of times that I just don't need to see that. Thank you.
Well, I find it weird when she's wearing these get-ups and North is with them. Like, I'm like, your husband's child is with you and you're like barely close. I don't know. It's just weird. I worry about North though, because it appears very much like her dad. And I think she's talented. Have you ever seen like the paintings and drawings?
Yes.
He is insanely talented, which I mean, so is he. We just we gotta be careful with
do all of that movie makeup, like where you make your face look like you're a different person. Like, it's insane the amount of talent she has, and even more insane that she's an amateur at her age. Like, if she truly hones some of those skills, it's going to be wild what she can do when she's older.
Yeah, no doubt. I have no clue how we got here. That would be funny if you tried to go back and like map this episode. Like, how did we get here?
Yarn.
I'm going to get back to entertainment, but my brain just currently went to the NFL.
As it should.
As it should. Again, this is very much our texting here. Apparently, if you're in the NFL and either A, you play for the Buffalo Bills, or B, you're a safety, you have lost your job this week.
Yeah.
That's all I know. The Bills cut like half their team. And they're still
going to make some cuts.
They still don't have money. And then it feels like every safety in the NFL is either on the trading block, is a free agent, or has been cut. I don't know. It's very strange.
Yeah. I guess I've never really paid attention to the whole free agent time in the NFL. I've always just at the beginning of the season, I'm like, oh, look, so-and-so's on this team now.
Yeah, I guess I haven't.
It's weird.
Yeah. I guess I haven't, even though I would have felt like I did. But this is like, this has to be a weird off season. So the other thing I have beef with are fake people on Twitter, because I am constantly sending Becca breaking news for her to reply to me like, that's not real. That's AI.
We'll do it to each other.
Yeah. And then you'll be like,
oh. And then 30 minutes later, I'll see another tweet. I'm like, oh, that was fake.
Yeah. I did it to her yesterday because I saw this thing that was allegedly Adam Schefter, which I can't stand him because he tries to break everyone's news, but I thought it was him. So I was like, oh, he's breaking news. Chris Jones is signing a gazillion-dollar deal. Send it to Becca because I'm so excited. I told Judd, hey, Judd, produce. Like, and then I realized there's a W at the end of this guy's handle. It's not really him. It's not.
Oh, we can't tell Judd. We can't break his heart. They're gonna have to
leave that as is. I mean, he is re-signing. He tweeted, Chris Jones tweeted Casey, just the initials yesterday, and Patrick retweeted it. So we know we're good. I'm gonna say I think we lose Snead though. And
they franchise tag him?
They did, and this is the whole thing that I didn't understand.
I don't understand franchise tag, but I was like, oh, he's a keeper.
So totally didn't get this either. Retha, my business coach, her brother plays for the Chiefs, and so she has tried to explain this to me. I thought franchise tag meant, hey, we own you. Like, you have our tag. You are with us. Doesn't mean that.
Okay. I thought it meant, hey, we're keeping you for a year, but we get to keep you at the minimum price.
So it does mean that. It means like there is like a lower, we'll need to do more research. This will not be an education moment here, but to me, it means that like there's this is the lowest amount we will pay you, but we'll guarantee that, which I think for him is like 19 million. Listen, I want to keep Snead. I really do. But I think we're going to be fine if we lose him. Partially because there are about 400 safeties that are available now.
Tons.
But if I had to pick, I would rather keep Chris Jones than Snead. Just being honest.
Okay.
Now, that's a spicy theory, though, because Chris is older.
He is, but I think he's still got a lot of game left in him. And I think that the Chiefs are going to come back real hard this year because they want that three-peat so bad.
Oh, well, and I saw yesterday the Chiefs they've taken over for the Cowboys as the most hated franchise. Bring it on.
It's crazy. They were the most loved before.
Yeah. It's like, we're so messed up as society that we have to hate somebody when they're successful.
Yeah.
Like, what is wrong with us?
Anything about the Chiefs? Can we talk about their weightlifting room?
You mean that looks like it's my closet? I don't understand.
Right?
What is Clark Hunt doing? You have like a 3-story penthouse at the stadium and your players are in a closet.
So first of all, I did not know that the NFL Players Association did report cards.
Oh, I didn't either.
I love that. I think that's fun. I don't know who gets to decide, like, vote on it. But
I would love to hear their commentary with each other as they're taking the online quiz.
Yeah. And are the players doing this? And they're like all of the rest of us when we have to take an employee satisfaction survey, and they're like, how anonymous is this?
Exactly. Are they going to tell Clark? Because I need my attention. Yeah.
But just think all of the pictures of their weight room compared to like Mizzou's and Colorado's, like college weight rooms. And there's still like the popcorn ceiling and the push tiles on.
So, and it turns out like Clark apparently had promised the players last year when they won the Super Bowl that he was going to like redo everything, and he didn't do it, which I'm really surprised by this because
I am too.
I don't know. He gives off a different vibe, but I will say now that I'm thinking about it in hindsight, I noticed that the players, they talk about the Hunt family a lot, but they talk about Norma which is Clark's mother who passed away last year. They don't talk about him. I just am like, oh, it's the Hunt family.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did notice that towards the end of the season. I was like, oh, they're always talking about Norma. They're not talking about Clark.
Mm-mm.
So I thought that was interesting. At first I was like, well, maybe he's not putting money into it because maybe they're going to build another stadium that's going to be the best.
Well, and boy, the timing on that announcement couldn't have been worse. That the survey comes out and he puts up his renderings of the new enhancements.
We got him new chairs.
Yeah, like, and here's a new trend. This is again, I am gonna die laughing when I edit this episode. This trend of having these like suites on the field like they had at Vegas Stadium, I don't like this.
No, it's odd.
And you know who I blame? I actually blame the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because they have a swimming pool in their end zone for fans or like behind.
I don't think I knew that.
Oh yeah, you can buy a ticket to swim in a pool during the game.
I feel like that's not safe, right?
Well, it's weird. I just want you to be
it's
clear.
weird.
This is weird. I don't like this whole like having suites right on the field thing. I didn't like it in the Vegas Stadium at the Super Bowl. I thought it was like, I don't know. It just takes away from it.
I think there needs to be a little bit more separation between where the fans are and where the players and the coaches and all of that. It's going to be like.
And listen, I don't even want to sit in one. Like, I'm not jealous because you're not going to be able to see anything.
No, I'm going to be watching everybody on the sidelines and what they're doing and all the other people in the suites or the person in the pool. Why are you swimming during an NFL game? Like,
very strange. So strange. So that's happening. The other part is, so let's talk about this for a second about Clark Hunt as well. Apparently, he is the reason that the Chiefs don't do any of the like different kind of uniforms during the season. He apparently is like insistent that they stick with the red and white traditional. Like, he does not want the color blocks. Like, if you see like the all blacked out Chiefs jerseys, like he's adamantly against that. What's wrong with you, Clark? Like we can't do something.
Those are weird hills to die on.
Well, he looks like he might be here, though. Like he's a little too buttoned up for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
So there's that. Now let's talk about Russell Wilson.
Yes.
So by the time this airs, there could be news because he's probably already there, but he was in flight this morning to Pittsburgh.
Which supposedly he also made a pit stop in New Jersey. So
talk to the Giants. Now, listen, if I'm Russ, I'm thinking, okay, somehow in my kookiness, I landed Sierra. I probably need to go play for the Giants because it feels like New York is the best option for her. And Pittsburgh in her career, I feel like you might lose her there, buddy. Like Denver was a stretch.
Also, I feel like you can't keep moving every year, my guy.
It may be time. And it came out of nowhere. Like, I feel like he was like height of his game and then like cut by the Broncos. Like, so I don't know. I'm thinking though, I think he should go to New York. But I for some reason think he's going to end up in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I could see that.
What do you feel about Kirk Cousins?
Okay, so this one's shocking to me.
I think this is so weird.
It's so weird. I just don't see him. All of the analysts that I've seen, they're like, he every year gets a better contract, more money.
And we're talking about Kirk Cousins. Like,
right.
It's so
he's
weird.
He's not a bad quarterback, but he's just not one that you're like, that's for sure first ballot Hall of Famer. Like,
oh heavens no, I don't even see him making it. Like,
no. So it's odd. It's odd for me to be like, how do you go into a meeting and say, I need all of this money, but you were out all last season? Nobody knows how well you're going to play after your recovery.
And you're getting older.
But I don't see him being willing to be a backup.
No.
Yeah.
I think right now, all the rumors are allegedly that his family is already like in the process of moving to Atlanta, which again, this is one of the reasons we don't like to speculate on this podcast because who knows if that's real. Which I thought a week ago, I thought the Justin Fields to Atlanta was done.
I did too.
That dude's still in Chicago trying to figure out what's happening. I mean, I don't know. I don't get it.
Just because based off of when Netflix did the quarterback series and Kirk was on there with his wife, I just they talked about the home that they had built there. They talked about like their church that they love there. And I just feel like, I don't know, why would you uproot when you probably maybe only have a year or two left? I don't know. Maybe in his mind, he thinks he has more. Maybe he does.
Speaking of thinking you have more, did you see Aaron Rodgers said he could see himself playing for the next 4 seasons? Listen, my God. No, we don't like him, and we're all done.
I think it's going to be interesting to see the Jets this next season. Let's see what that looks like.
Yeah, let's see if you stay healthy, Aaron. Let's start there.
Have the Jets released Zach, or is he still technically on there?
I think he's still, because, you know, officially the season doesn't start until this next Wednesday, the 13th.
Okay.
So I think at that point, a lot's going to happen. But then I have seen a lot of stuff about like the 49ers. A lot of how their contracts is that like, if they keep you all the way until camp starts, they don't owe you an X amount of money. So apparently there's like constant back and forth. Are they going to trade Deebo Samuel or Brandon Ayuk? And which, again, I'm like, y'all should probably just pay the money and keep them because you were so close. But apparently, like, they're talking about keeping Deebo until June when camp would start and then cut him, and then they don't have to pay him like $39 million. Like,
crazy.
Listen,
can you imagine being the person hanging in the balance, but then also the family that you've got a wife that possibly has a job, you've got kids that are enrolled in school, like, and then last minute we've got to move to a completely different state, sometimes from one coast to the other. Like,
yeah. I feel like we've talked about this. You follow Allison.
Yes.
Cooch. Yeah. That's kind of, I've thought more about the family side of it, watching her and Isaac on TikTok, like Cleveland, Vegas, cut by Vegas, back in Vegas. Then they had the home in California. Now they're living in Texas. And I saw the other day where he was like, people keep asking if I'm, you know, still playing. And he's like, I'm still working out. And I'm like, well,
yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of these players have, like, I guess what they call their home base. So they all own a home somewhere and then they'll rent an apartment or something wherever they play. But not every NFL player can afford that.
No.
They don't all make bukus of money, especially if you're playing in like California where you really got to stretch that money and the taxes that they're pulling out. And so.
Yeah. Now, I think I said this to you the other day. Oh, I did, because I think you were a little alarmed by this opinion. That I don't like Alex Earl.
Yeah.
You acted weird when I said this, like just like you are right I don't
like the context around it. And I was like, well, that's interesting. Like,
well, it's because I started, like, I think I was on a TikTok rabbit hole, and, you know, she's real active on there, and like her relationship with Braxton Berrios from the Dolphins. I don't know. It just gives me weird vibes. I don't like
for us to understand.
Yeah, it might be. And yesterday she did an entire video on TikTok of cleaning up her influencer room, and I just got more mad at her. I just was like, you got to do this for free.
How do people live like this?
Get it out of the floor. What is wrong with you?
Like, yeah. Well, but then when she got out of the floor, she didn't vacuum. I was like, there's
and like Braxton, I don't know how he's weird.
I'm pretty sure she makes more money than him.
Oh, well, then did you see the one where they were talking about like the rumors that he had been cut by the Dolphins, and she acted like it was like ludicrous, like, oh, he could never get cut. What did this do? What does he do? Like, your Tyreek feels like third backup. Yeah. I feel like when he gets cut, because it'll happen, she's going to be gone. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. Other football news. A lot of running backs are available right now.
Yeah. Listen, there's just a lot of free agents, and there's a lot of hype around those that are coming up in the draft. So it's going to be real interesting to see.
The draft. Yeah. We'll have to do, so that's next month. Make sure I get my calendar straight on my prep sheets on when we should cover the draft, because apparently you're not going to tell anybody that I'm recapping something that hasn't happened.
I got you.
So you say. Listen, Caleb Williams, that's a good topic. Now, Caleb Williams, the USC quarterback, is, you know, everybody acts like he's all that in a bag of chips, which I think he's talented, but let's all remember that they didn't do very well last season.
With him at the helm.
Yeah. And so, you know, apparently his camp with bunny ears has been saying and checking with teams like, hey, he'll come, but he wants ownership or partial ownership, which, listen, My dude.
Oh,
That's amazing. Like, I love the confidence that like even Aaron Rodgers did this and he didn't get it. So, but
I
hope he
just,
gets drafted by the Bears because he's going to go nowhere with his career, much like Justin Fields. And it just makes me laugh.
I've heard like both sides about the whole him being at the combine. The one side is like people are like, oh yeah, he showed up. He was really respectful to everybody, talked to everybody. He stayed till the very end to shake everybody's hand. Yeah, but he didn't do anything.
Not only that, but he wouldn't even do the medical like release.
No,
which
didn't do the
was
medical.
so weird. First guy in history, like, not releasing your medical, like what?
I mean, and then he was like, "Well, you can watch my game tape." Well, yeah, but that's your highlight reel.
Yeah, exactly. Like
anybody can please watch the game tape of my life, and I'm only going to show you the parts where I was really on.
Don't you look at my Instagram? My life is perfect, and I rest of the ninth. Yeah, like what is?
I didn't also know that is it called Pro Day that the colleges hold?
Yeah. So I have seen some stuff about this that the LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels.
Yes.
Jaden, whatever. I saw he did not throw at the combine, right?
Yes.
But he said that he was going to throw at Pro Day and he chose to do that because he felt like more recruiters and teams would come to LSU and would get more eyes on his receivers for them and their careers, which I was like, oh,
I respect that.
Really respectable for somebody at LSU. I don't see that happening a lot. So
yeah. I thought the combine, if you were going to be in the draft, the combine was a non-negotiable. That's just what I thought it was. I didn't realize you got to. But then they were saying like Joe Burrow didn't throw at the combine. I think they said Peyton Manning didn't throw when he was at the combine. So I was like, okay. So what's the purpose of the combine?
Well, and I do think it's like dwindling. I think historically, like because like you can go back and look at footage of like Jason, Trav, Patrick, all those people, and you can go see their combine footage. Which every time I say combine, I almost say Columbine, and it's a whole thing.
It's not.
So I do think it's like dwindling of an importance now, which is weird. But then there was that guy this year. Was he a defensive player or a receiver? His groin snapped. He did the high and it snapped. I mean,
I'm always concerned when they run the 40-yard dash. Like, you're gonna pop a hammy. I can't.
Listen, in 4.2 seconds, 4.2 seconds, 40 yards. I can't even look 40 yards in
2 seconds to realize that the buzzer went and I need to run.
Yeah. Like I can't look. Oh, that's 40 yards in 4.6. Like what? But I also think a lot of that stuff, I wonder if it's dwindling of importance too, because like it's not proven out really in the NFL. Like,
I mean, that's fair.
A lot of guys have like broken records at the combine, and then I'm like, I've never heard of them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. Pro Day, I think, is coming up of importance, which was not a big deal back in the day for a lot of different reasons. But I think guys, too, probably feel more comfortable on their home field with their receivers, like running their drills. I don't know. I could see it. Yeah. And I mean, to Caleb's point, like, I'm not going to just look at your highlight footage and trust that you're healthy. But to his point, we do have footage. Like, we have evidence of these guys. Can they play? Can they not play? But I don't know. His attitude, and everybody who says, oh, it's not him, it's his dad. Well,
he's listening to him.
Listen,
you're at the age you don't have to listen to your parent anymore. You're an adult, my man.
That tells me that you're going to struggle with everybody wanting a piece of you in the NFL. So
yeah, and you have to lead a room of grown men.
Yeah, good luck. Because those players are going to be like, who is this chump when he gets there? So
I also wonder if we're inching towards a more entitled draft as the years go on, because if you think about how much money some of these people are making in NIL deals in college, and then they get drafted to the NFL for maybe league minimum, and you went from making maybe 15 million in college to 2 million. So I just wonder how many people are left that just enjoy playing the game and realize the opportunity that's been given to them by being drafted onto an NFL team that's not given to a lot of people. And are we going to start seeing people turn down when they're called in the draft?
So I have this theory in my mind as you were talking that some of this could be tied to where they went to college.
Okay.
Because but I may be defeating my own theory too, because I think of Caleb Williams, right? You're at USC, like you're in LA, right?
Yeah.
Apparently he was living in a like multi-million-dollar penthouse that I think he bought.
So
So
okay.
like we're already kind of balling out. But then I think about guys that are like at Podunk U, like once they make it to the league, like it's like everything they've ever dreamed of. They never had anything. But then I think about guys like L'Jarius Sneed. He went to Louisiana Tech, like Ruston, Louisiana, like 12 people live there. So it'll be interesting to see, does he hold out for more money than the Chiefs are willing to pay, or is he going to be loyal to the Chiefs and love winning and stay?
Yeah. Because I don't think you have enough people in their ear. Like even Travis Kelce has said so many times that his agent's like, you could be making so much more money. Like, yeah, but it's important for me to play for this team. But also, I just love playing football. And I don't think that we have people coming into it that say that, because they have so many people in their ear at such a younger age that's like, hold out for more, hold out for more. Well, you haven't proven yourself in the league yet. So while, yeah, you were great in college, this is a whole new ball game.
Well, I mean, we say this all the time for various reasons. Oh my gosh. Are we sure that I made this outline? We haven't talked about Jason Kelce. What? Are we sure? Like,
wait, listen. Did I do this? Just knew it was going to be a hodgepodge. So
did I do that thing again where I like I'm going to go look. Did I do that thing where I typed in white and it's not showing up? Because I swear to you that I put stuff on here about Jason's retirement. And I also swear that I put something on here about all the music that got released.
At the very end. It's my fault. I didn't realize there was 5 pages. There's 5 pages.
Oh my gosh, this is my fault too. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's because I put in those stupid snapshots of the. Okay, life is making a lot more sense now. So in our outline, for those of you,
welcome to our journey, folks.
Yeah, I put 2 screenshots in there of tweets that I wanted to talk about, which we haven't even talked about because I didn't see them because they were apparently enormous. And below that is the rest of my topics. I'm glad that we're at like 50 minutes. Okay, let me cover these real fast then. Dumois, we don't like you.
Not a fan.
This week she said something like gossip is the same as news. First of all, people, that is not true. But in speaking of that, there was a headline from Page 6 that just made me chuckle. Taylor coughed during Delicate in Singapore, and the headline was she was fighting for her life. Like, people, this is why gossip is not the same as news. Okay.
God. And it was like a normal cough. It was aggressive because she's in the middle of lyrics. So she's whatever like, she's got to get up.
Yeah. I mean, you got to hurry. So it's like, you know, so there's that. And then also, so Taylor tweeted this week, it was Super Tuesday on Tuesday, and a lot of elections around the country, primary type things. Taylor always tweets when it's election day to get out and vote. It's always been her thing since the Miss Americana documentary.
Yeah.
People were pissed on both sides. So the conservatives always get mad when Taylor says something about voting because they know that whoever she's encouraging to vote knows that she's not voting for a conservative. But this time the liberals got mad at her because she was not like outspoken about different bills. And apparently in Tennessee, there were a lot of bills that were up for election or voting that had to do with like LGBTQ rights and all of that and things like that. And so in her statement, it was very like generic, hey, get out and vote. Here's where you go find a polling location, whatever. You can't win for losing. Like,
you guys, she's busy.
Yeah.
She cannot also be your political guru.
And dude, if you want,
super respectful, because I understand, like, she and I probably don't see eye to eye on some things. But when I read it, I was like, I like how she worded, go out and vote for who represents you.
Yeah.
That was the most respectful way she could have done it. And I appreciated that. And usually I get real upset when celebrities talk about anything political. I'm like, please take a seat. But I was like, I like that.
Well, and I'm like, if you watch the Miss America documentary, that was when she was going to make her first kind of political statement. And it's when she came out against Marsha Blackburn in Tennessee and Trump and all of that. If you watch the documentary, though, that was like a very huge decision. Her whole team had to be involved. Like, Tree had to be on the ready. Her dad was worried. Like, there was a lot that went into that. So you think she's just going to randomly tweet out, this is what, you know, woo, rainbow flag? No. Like,
to me, I felt like that's her way of still showing that this is important. But we can't look to her to be like, tell me exactly how to vote.
Yeah. And
do the work yourself, guys.
I say this about everything in life. I am fine with people having opinions as long as you can back them up.
Yes.
And like, do Taylor and I agree on everything politically? Probably not. I probably am closer to agreeing with her politically than probably you are, but she's very educated. So I'm fine with it. Like, I'm fine with anyone. Vote for whoever you want, as long as you make an educated opinion. So if you're waiting for Taylor to say, this is how you should vote, you ain't doing it right already. Like,
no.
We got problems. And that's what's wrong with our country. That's how we have ended up with some of the people in office, perhaps President Trump, that didn't belong there, is because some random
celebrity. Just wipe them all. Let's try again.
Listen, did you watch the State of the Union last night?
I watched parts of it. I could not sit through the whole thing.
Why was he yelling?
I don't know that he knew he was.
He probably couldn't hear himself, bless him. But man was yelling and aggressive. It was weird, but even worse was the
things he was yelling about. I was like, my guy.
He was, he was like
a problem.
Like I just can't even imagine.
Kamala, and then what's the
Mike Johnson, Yeah.
First off, I don't really know a whole lot about him, but I loved him last night just for the pure
eye rolls.
Because his face is all of our faces in our meetings at work.
Yeah. But you're on turn our cameras off, people.
Like Kamala up and down, and it's too much. It's too much.
Listen, I am a pomp and circumstance kind of person. We've talked about this. I love tradition. I used to work in politics in DC. The State of the Union used to be one of my favorite things. Even after I got out of politics, I used to play the drinking game to the State of the Union. Like, it's just, I love it. The pomp and circumstance of the State of the Union is one of my favorites. When the sergeant at arms walks into the room and screams out the President of the United States, like, I just love it.
Right. I don't like the president, but I love that moment.
But like, not anymore. Like, it is so bad. And it's not just that it's Biden.
There's no respect on either side for what the moment is. I don't have to agree with you, but I'm not going to yell at you. I'm not going to sit there and look like a fool.
It was so strange, the whole thing. And then, of course, this year's rebuttal. I mean, couldn't have been worse.
No. So I read the highlights from it, and I didn't watch it. And I was like, oh, that sounds like she probably did a really good job. And then I watched some of it, and I was like,
if you missed it, don't worry, because I'm pretty confident that SNL will probably cover it this weekend. It was that bad.
We'll re-see it Saturday.
But speaking of SNL, we have new music this month. Ariana Grande is on SNL this weekend. Couldn't care less. Can't stand her. But have you heard anything about her new album that just came out this week?
So I didn't realize that her album came out.
Yep. Apparently that's about the sentiment on Twitter.
I think she's still just pushing the one song that she did that really did not sit well with people.
Well, so a couple of funny notes that I saw on Twitter. Now, again, I will say I've not listened to it, nor will I be. So just know that for the record. If it's Ariana Grande, I'm out. But a lot of people on Twitter are like, why was Yes and ? Why was it the lead single? They're like, it's the worst song on the album. But secondly, apparently she sampled The Boy Is Mine with Brandy and Monica. Now, listen, I know sampling is a popular thing now, and people do it as long as you give credit. It's fine. She did great, whatever. You're going through a whole thing where the guy you're with now left his wife and baby for you, and you're sampling The Boy Is Mine? Listen.
Whoever is in her PR circle needs to tree. Somebody help her out.
Let's all remember who's the agent she just left. Scooter. Yeah, it fits. Like, this all tracks. Like, yeah, of course you thought this was a good idea.
There you go.
So yeah, that's a train wreck. Next week we get Beyonce, I think. Oh my gosh, I just thought of something. Is it coming out next Friday? Because now I'm questioning my thought of Taylor, because I don't know if I see Taylor dropping an album on the same day as Beyonce.
No.
Now I'm questioning everything. This is literally how our texting goes. She does the research.
March 29th.
Okay, thank God. Okay, then yeah, she will. That's coming. I'm still weirded out with the whole Texas Hold'em. The lyrics are terrible, but it sure is catchy.
Listen, you got TikTok catching on to it, so.
Well, that's because nobody else can be on TikTok because all the music from the UMG is gone. How we got to all this, though, was we were talking about football. And do you see, listen, I am really good at tying back because what I was saying was that they don't make people like Jason and Travis. And we talk about that all the time in a lot of different respects. But what I was going to say about that was like their character to want to stay with the team that they started with throughout their whole career, being willing to take less and, you know, give everything to that brand and that team. They just don't make guys like that, like Travis and Jason have done it. It's just, and I think it's sad because like these little guys like get obsessed with the team. Like Judd is obsessed with the Chiefs. Everything is the Chiefs. And it's the players. It's not the history of the team or anything. It's Patrick, it's Travis. Listen, I think Willie Gay's getting cut. You know, Judd's going to be crushed.
Yeah.
But Pacheco, like he's obsessed with those guys. So then when they don't have team loyalty, what happens to these little guys? Like, I hate that.
I do wish that they had more like Jason Kelce's after he retired that could come into the building and mentor some of these newer players, some of these younger players. There's got to be something there because you have to think more on just there's so much mental to this game that I think that we don't all understand.
Yeah.
But I think they need to have somebody that's been through it that does understand that loyalty and the importance to the NFL to just because they don't have that in their ear. They have parents in their ear telling them to go for more. They have college coaches in their ear. Like they just need a voice of reason that's been through it.
Well, I think it'll be interesting to see what transpires with Jason. So we say all this to say Jason Kelce retired officially this week. If you have not watched the press conference, listen.
Get your Kleenex out.
I hope I can even get through talking about it currently. We're several days removed. I was in a very fragile, unwell state when it happened.
Yeah.
I was like
through the majority of it.
I was like sitting in our kitchen bar watching it. I had a roll of paper towels sitting there, and Aaron walked in, and he was like, "Is everything okay?" And I was like, "Like, listen, it was not good." But I'm interested to see what Jason does because it may set a precedence for these guys retiring that have stayed with the team their whole career. Like if he's mentioned he'd love to be back in the building and helping in whatever way he can. And he even said on their podcast this week, like it's not coaching, but like something. So it'll be interesting to see. I think
maybe he'll get a Thursday night.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to be commentating. And he's just going to be keeping a seat warm until Trav gets there, and they're going to have their own show like the Mannings do, and it's going to be fantastic. Let's talk about Jason's retirement speech.
Phenomenal.
I mean, like he said, and it was funny, you and I texted about this. He said that he's been writing this for a couple years, and he's been doing it in the notes app on his phone, which is funny because it's funny to us because Taylor has said that that's how she writes her songs. So, and he even said like he wakes up in the middle of the night and he'll put something in it. Same with her lyrics, but it was so good. Again, I always say like, I don't know what Donna and Ed Kelce did, but I have never seen two grown men more emotionally intelligent than those two.
Yes.
Like, and Travis comes off like a buffoon a lot of times.
Yeah.
Like, if you watched New House this week when he thought Yoko Ono was Apollo Ono.
I lost it.
Died dead on the scene. I could not. I just was like, oh my gosh. I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard. But that's kind of him. But when you talk about emotional intelligence, like, it is mind-blowing. And Jason's whole speech, Jason thanked his high school band director.
Did you not love that?
I just thought this man has like, you know, that band director like popped his suspenders and was like, I'm having the best day. Like,
best moment of his life.
It was so good.
To me, I love that he thanked his hockey coach, his lacrosse coach, his band teacher, because I think that says so much to parents right now that are like, I want my kid in the NFL. They can only ever play football. And all of these football players are saying, don't do that. Let them explore. Let them do different things. But then also all of the things that he was thanking them for, of like, I learned all of these things from doing something different. And you have, like, it just was fantastic way to kind of put all of that in there.
I thought that was a highlight for me. I loved like the call outs that he did to teammates and different stories that he'd had. And I think that, and just like his love of Philadelphia and all of that is just, I think it's, again, it's so great. And it's how Travs will be when he leaves Kansas City, which Lord, I probably better call in some medication for that. But, but when he talked to Travis and talked about how, see, this is where I'll get choked up. But when he talked about how, like, just he was told that he would fit in Philly because it's the city of brotherly love, and he said he knew all too well. Which I loved that he did that, and I think that was, people were like, "Oh, that was just happenstance." No, that was
intentional.
That was very
going to shout her out by herself.
And how he said they had won more Super Bowl rings before ever leaving the backyard. Oh my gosh, it gets me.
Right?
But also, like, when the cameras panned to Trav, and of course he wore sunglasses because he knew he'd be a mess, and he was. Oh.
Yeah. At first I was like, okay, Trav, take it off. And then I was like, oh, I need sunglasses too.
Like, the next day I was like, oh, these bags are huge. And then, as always, when he talked about Kylie, like, listen.
Just the best. It's
just the story. And, you know, she has done an interview, a couple of them, since his speech, and she said it always makes her laugh when he talks about the night they met, because she's like, it's funny the details he does remember, because he was, if you haven't heard the story, was very intoxicated.
Right.
She was like, but it's sweet just the things that he still remembers, and just their whole dynamic is so, like, hashtag goals to me. Like,
yeah.
The part to her was just,
yeah.
His parents, just all of that.
I love how he broke that down and thanked them and kind of what he's gained from them.
Well, and you know, I thought I think Donna and Ed have some kind of secret sauce that they ought to sell, but also as a divorced family, and I realized that they divorced much later in Trav and Jason's lives, but the way they still handle that as a family, I think, is a really good thing for people to see. And it's good for these kids to see, like, and the way, I don't know if you noticed this, but when they all came in, Travis initially sat in between Ed and Donna.
I noticed.
And then Ed moved down one and Donna scooted in and sat next to him. Because I think as a family, like, I think Ed and Donna, they probably still have tremendous issues between each other, I'm sure, for whatever reason. But I think, like, they realize that they did this together. They raised those boys together, and their success is their parents' success. And so I think, like, hearing him talk to each of them, but also what they did as a family, and the whole part about how he said, like, we didn't have cousins. It was really just me and my brother. That got me. But also the part when he talked about his dad, I thought it was, because so many times, and my husband, Aaron, jokes about this, like, you hear all these athletes when they get up there, they always thank their mom. And, like, you never really hear about the dad. But I thought it was really cool how he pointed out, like, Ed, you know, worked in the steel thing, and, like, being a father and what that meant for him. And now that's what he wants to do for his girls. I thought that was good for guys to see too. I thought it was badass that he called out the fact that Donna was really the breadwinner in the family.
Yeah. I was like,
yeah.
It just, to me, showed he just placed the same amount of importance on every single person all along the way. And I think that's so hard to do and get your point across. Yeah. And he just did it so well. And he cried through almost the entire thing, which to me, I loved.
Same.
It just shows you how much it meant to him. And I think people right after the Super Bowl wanted him to make an announcement, or right after his last game, let's make an announcement. And I was like, he's never going to do that. He wants to take the time to get it right. This is not an Instagram post. Like, I just love that he put an importance on it.
And I think he was very intentional about this whole thing. I do think that he told people that night at his last game that it was it. But I think he waited to let Travis, like, Super Bowl fanfare happen, because you notice he did it the week after the Chiefs were back in Vegas together.
Yes.
And I thought that was very intentional. Also, and I noticed it when he walked in, but I didn't think anything of it, that his ankles were taped. And so apparently his trainer has been going through cancer, and so he wasn't there to tape him all season, and so he had him tape him for the press conference. Like,
yeah,
holy bananas! Like,
also the thoughtfulness that went into that, because any other person would have been like, yeah, I hated that you weren't there too. But for him to come around and be like, hey, take me for, like, let's go out on a high note. And then seeing all of the staff.
Yeah. And like the cafeteria workers, just everyone. But there's something about those guys, and we've talked about it on here before. We've talked about the fact that Travis is in Singapore right now. He's there with his friends. Like, his friends from childhood. And like, I don't know, whatever they did in the Kelce household, like,
they did it right
to it, because man, it was so good. Last topic. Not only is Scott Swift missing in Singapore, but Kate Middleton is missing.
Middleton's missing since December 20th.
And now allegedly, which I haven't even mentioned this to you. So I sent you the thing. So Kate Middleton had some kind of a planned, as I say with bunny ears, abdominal surgery and has never been seen since. And then allegedly was going to be back out around Easter. And then this week they said June 8th for the trooping of the trooping colors.
Trooping of the colors.
Now she's been removed from that website. Yeah. What is happening? Is she dead?
I have no idea. Listen, because then there was the sighting of her in the car, but I think it was Pippa.
I think it was Pippa too. So there was a picture of Carol Middleton driving someone, and everyone's like, oh, it's super grainy, but that's Kate Middleton. It's not. That was Pippa Middleton. That was not Kate.
It's
the
interesting.
The wasn't right. The mole was gone.
So here's the thing. When she was pregnant, she had, I don't remember the medical term for it, but it's like severely nauseous and all that kinds of issues. When she had that and went into the hospital, I want to say with the first and second, we were told beforehand, listen, she's pregnant and this is what she has. We were given the diagnosis. So the fact that they're just saying planned abdominal surgery is wild, especially given how long this is out. Plus you've got King Charles out. Plus you've got a cousin's husband, or however that was related, has now passed away. William had to pull out of an event. We're assuming possibly because that was on the same day as they found out about the family member.
Camilla needs a break now. Like, she's tired
after having 13 events that she went to, which, listen, I get
blessed assurance, but I don't know. Something is amiss. And again, we have gone through every diagnosis that we can think of and shot down as to why it can't be that, because the recovery is just not this long. I mean, I had a full hysterectomy last year, took everything, not an inch of it left in me.
Yeah.
I literally worked the next day. Should I? No, but I did.
Right.
But yeah, like, I mean, I was fine for sure within 2 or 3 weeks. Like, it's
her to be out for months.
I just don't know. And I mean, I worried, like, I hope she's fine, but like, I don't know. It is very, very strange. And
in the UK media, it's not doing too much about it because, again, we know that they have deals with the royal family.
Yeah, they've been paid. Well, and did we see that Harry offered to come help out? Listen, Harry, nobody needs you.
You can just stay in California, my guy. You're not going to be of any help over there. Okay?
Yeah, I just I saw where he and Meghan are in Austin this week because I guess she's being touted on some platform.
I don't know when the most recent you've been to Austin, but we were there last year. If you're worried about security, Austin is not the place for you.
Yeah, let's cram all of California into one city. Yeah.
Yeah,
there's some squads, like, which I know that was last week's episode, but I don't know. It's a very strange situation. I hate to speculate what's going on, but I am sincerely worried because I can't come up with anything that would have her out of the public for this long, especially in a time when they need to be in the public because King Charles has already said, hey, I got cancer. Like,
yeah. And Camilla's saying, I need a break. I'm tired. For Camilla, yes, you've been working a lot, but also you're dealing with the mental and all of that of your husband was just diagnosed with cancer. Like, it makes sense that you need to step away for a little bit. I imagine William is probably about hit his limit as well, dealing with all the stress and everything.
Probably a good thing he already lost all his hair because it would be gone by now.
And I do understand that they don't come out and make a lot of personal statements. I can respect that. It just seems, and maybe it's because of our media making it a huge deal. It just seems like you're not going to say anything. You're not going to nothing. At least a picture of her like reading a book to the kids while she's sitting in a chair, saying like she's still here, like something.
She's alive. You know, I go back to what we've talked about before. Like we got those drone footage of Travis in a hotel room window in Australia, and we could clearly see him. But yet the only thing we've gotten is this grainy picture that I am confident was Pippa. That's all we've gotten? Like, that is...
Well, so I watched some clips from the UK news because they were saying whoever originated that picture was either from the Spanish media or some other place. It was not a UK.
Oh, yeah, they would never. Yeah.
And none of the UK media has published that photo. So they have a deal with the family of like, we're just going to give you your time to get better. But
it'll be very interesting to see how this all plays out. But I hope she's okay. We wish her well. I mean,
no, we miss her.
I do.
I want to see you. So,
is there any topic left untouched?
Probably.
I mean, we'll probably hang up and I'll be like, oh, I should have put that on the agenda on the page that we found.
Listen, we know it's going to be a hodgepodge today, so
I can't wait till I'm trying to come up with a title for this episode.
I can't either. I actually am looking forward to it, and also the picture that you're going to put with it.
Oh yeah, this is going to be a doozy. Okay, yeah, great. I think that's it. If it's possible, I think that's it.
Thanks guys for following our bunny trails that we went on.
Now, welcome to our lives. Now, if you've ever wondered what we're texting, this is it. All day, every day. All right, bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.